This is the Micro, XL, and Bridge. I've got another video kind of showing the assembly on it. The XL kit comes with some loose rocks, which can get it thrown in places, or if you need to put them into a hole to make it easier to get up. They work really well for adding to transitions in there, or just going around and letting them float around. So this kit here will work well for the 30th scale. It also works with the 18th and 24th scales. This here, to get underneath there, is a little bit tight, so using the flat plate that comes with the XL kit works better if you're using any of the larger vehicles. But with the small vehicle, you can set it up kind of however you want. The majority of this kit I've got kind of locked together as one big giant piece. The pieces right in front of the bridges I do have set as able to be loose, and that way we can turn them different directions to make things easier or harder on these transitions. This one here works fairly well right here with the mini ones, because it gives you a good transition to get up onto this flat spot here. When you've got it set this direction here, it is really steep to get up and around in here. So this one works fairly well in there next to it. So. This bridge is fairly steep, and with the gray ones, they don't have as good a texture as the gradient colors do, so it's a little bit more difficult on the gray than it is on one of these other gradient textures. And on the steep sections up here are definitely a little bit hard to get up on a stock vehicle. With a more modified vehicle, they're a little bit easier, but it is definitely not an easy one to get up with this stock vehicle. The bridge here, depending on how you have this set up, can become either more difficult or less difficult. Obviously, if you put something like this and put it up here, you have a much larger transition to get up and over than you do with here. This one here is a nice fun one though, because it has a lot of vehicles to get up on it. This direction, we could probably easier to get up that side. Any of these tiles can pretty much go in any of the positions that you want to. They don't have to be in this exact setup I've got here. This is just kind of a setup that I put together as I was laying it out. So you can make the lines obviously more challenging or less challenging. you can see, this one's completely stock, so it definitely has some challenges in some sections there. This now we've got a 24 scale here, one of the larger 24 scales. Which you can still have a bunch of fun with these ones as well. Will just barely fit underneath there, but it does. This angle is pretty steep with the tile G facing that way. So, yeah, maybe uneasier. Easier up and over for him. Obviously the 24 scales are much larger on it, but they're still a ton of fun on the smaller tiles. So in this section we've got the 6x6 tiles. This one right here is our 9x9 tile instead, which is that same bridge slope right there, just a larger version of it. So it's obviously with these ones is much better suited for the 24th and 18th scales, but it does take up a significant larger space, considering here is that same setup right there with tile G sitting right on top of it. So the amount of space that this takes up versus that taking up is significantly larger here. So that's that same tile sections. This is same tile, just the larger version of it. And one kind of neat thing about the way that we have these systems set up is the larger tiles four of them will take up the same space as three of these, so this would line up and integrate perfectly into this system right here. So if you wanted to mix and match the large tiles and the small tiles, they work together, including the same tab system. So if you wanted to hook these together, they lock together as one big system as well. So both the 9x9 and the 6x6 both use the exact same tiles, tabs for the tiles.